You packed your bags. Everything's in order, or so you thought. But then, at the security checkpoint, a TSA agent pulls out something you never expected. Your protein bar, confiscated. Welcome to 2025, where the rules have changed, and the list of banned items might include something you're carrying right now. Wait! They took what? Air travel in 2025 feels more like crossing into another dimension than hopping on a flight. And it all starts at the TSA checkpoint. Gone are the days when only sharp objects and oversized liquids got flagged. Now it's common things you use every day that are being quietly removed from your bag and tossed in the bin. The TSA isn't doing this just to make life harder. The threats are evolving. So are the methods of concealment. Smugglers and criminals have gotten more creative, and so security has had to respond. But for regular travelers, this means one thing: stay informed or risk losing your belongings. And the first big surprise? Certain snacks are now on the chopping block. Number 1. You're running late for your flight, you skipped breakfast, and you grab a protein bar from your backpack to survive the next few hours. But as you go through the TSA checkpoint, an agent pulls it out, looks at it, and drops it into the bin, confiscated. Wait, what just happened? In 2025, this is becoming a surprisingly common scene. TSA has ramped up scrutiny on all food items, especially dense, homemade, or processed snacks. The reasoning? Security scanners can't always identify what's inside certain foods, especially ones with thick, dense cores like protein bars, meal replacement bars, or anything vacuum sealed. These can resemble explosive compounds or smuggled contraband on an X-ray. Even innocent-looking snacks like peanut butter, hummus, or yogurt fall under the TSA's liquid and gel restrictions. If it's spreadable, squeezable, or pourable, and over 3.4 ounces, it's toast. That includes sealed travel-sized jars, pouches, and containers of guacamole or dips you bought right inside the terminal. And don't think being sealed will save it. If it breaks the volume limit, it's gone. Then there's the powdered stuff. Protein powders, matcha tea, even instant coffee, especially if they're in unlabeled bags or travel canisters, can trigger alarms. Some have even led to field testing because they look suspiciously like banned substances. TSA agents are trained to act fast if they spot anything they can't identify immediately. That means your healthy snacks could be flagged as suspicious cargo. So before you pack that nutritious meal bar or homemade snack bag, think again. In 2025, the rules aren't just about keeping you full, they're about keeping everyone safe. Number 2. Remember when smart luggage was the ultimate travel flex? Built-in chargers, GPS tracking, remote locking? It felt like bringing the future with you. But in 2025, that sleek, tech-filled suitcase might just be the most expensive thing you don't get to take on board. The reason? Lithium-ion batteries. The TSA's updated 2025 policies have turned a sharp eye toward non-removable power sources, especially those buried inside luggage. If your smart suitcase has a battery that can't be easily detached, it's considered a flight risk. And they're not talking about a stern warning. They mean confiscation, sometimes right at the gate. Why the sudden crackdown? Lithium batteries can overheat or catch fire if damaged, especially in pressurized environments like cargo holds. After multiple international incidents involving in-flight battery fires, the TSA now works closely with the FAA to remove these threats before they ever leave the ground. But even carry-ons aren't safe. If your battery looks swollen, modified, or even just unfamiliar, agents can flag it for further inspection. Some travelers have reported losing brand new luggage simply because the built-in battery wasn't labeled or accessible enough to be removed without tools. And don't think it ends with the suitcase. Backpacks with solar panels, purses with charging packs, or tech-enabled organizers can all fall under the same scrutiny. The worst part? Most people don't even realize their bag is considered smart until it's too late. One moment you're zipping through security. The next, you're watching a TSA officer wheel away your $400 carry-on while you board empty-handed. Before your next flight, check. Is your luggage really flight approved or a ticking time bomb in TSA's eyes? Number 3. You toss your keys into the tray at TSA. Nothing unusual until an agent picks them up and inspects your keychain. Suddenly, you're being pulled aside. Why? Because your self-defense keychain just got flagged as a concealed weapon. In 2025, TSA has tightened the definition of prohibited items, and personal safety tools are at the top of the list. What used to fly under the radar, literally, is now grounds for removal or even law enforcement involvement. Common items getting confiscated? Let's start with pepper spray. Unless you're a law enforcement officer with proper documentation, it's a hard no. Even in checked bags on certain airlines. Tactical pens, which double as writing tools and glass breakers, are now considered potential weapons. Kubatans, stun guns, cat-shaped knuckle rings, and even steel core keychains are being flagged as dangerous items. One surprising addition to the banned list: flashlights with dual functions, especially those marketed online as self-defense tools. These often contain stun gun components or reinforced ends that can be used as blunt force weapons. They look ordinary but can pack a serious punch, which makes them especially problematic during screening. Even belts with hidden blades or reinforced buckles are being pulled for inspection, and if you try to argue, "I didn't know," it won't help. TSA agents in 2025 are trained to prioritize safety over intent. If something looks tactical, aggressive, or even just too clever, it's not flying. For everyday travelers, this means taking a closer look at your accessories. That stylish keychain or belt could delay you for hours, or worse, get you on a watch list. So before heading to the airport, ask yourself, is this item for safety, or is it about to become a security threat? Number 4. If you vape, you might think you know the drill. Carry your vape gear in your hand luggage, keep the juice under 3.4 ounces, and you're good. But in 2025, that's no longer enough. The TSA has introduced sweeping changes that could put your vape kit and your trip in serious jeopardy. First, yes, vape pens and e-cigarettes must be in your carry-on only. That hasn't changed, but now TSA agents are doing chemical residue tests on devices. If your vape smells odd, has residue, or appears tampered with, it could be confiscated on the spot. And no, it doesn't matter if it cost you $300 or was a limited edition. Then there's the liquid rule. Vaping liquids, especially those in opaque bottles, are now under heightened scrutiny. Anything labeled as 30 milliliters that doesn't look like it was commercially sealed can be considered suspicious. TSA officers now have the authority to toss even sealed bottles if the label looks off or the contents appear cloudy. And if you thought you were safe with nicotine pouches, sprays, or gums, think again. These are now being flagged for inspection, especially if they're not in original packaging or resemble contraband. The problem isn't just about nicotine, it's about concealment. Some smugglers have used vape kits to hide illegal substances, so now everyone gets extra attention. One traveler even had their vape kit pulled apart because it had a custom coil that didn't match factory specs. That's all it took. So here's the new rule of thumb. If your vape gear looks modified, smells strong, or seems like it was put together in a garage, it's a problem. TSA doesn't want to ban vaping. They just don't want to guess what's inside that mysterious cloud-making machine. Number 5. You breeze through security feeling confident until a TSA agent reaches into your carry-on and pulls out your favorite $200 face cream. You watch in disbelief as it disappears into the bin. Why? Because in 2025, your cosmetics are under as much scrutiny as your electronics. TSA's updated protocols now treat opaque containers, premium brands, and luxury packaging as potential risks. Why? These containers are often thick, hard to scan, and sometimes designed to conceal compartments. The more expensive the packaging, the more likely it is to get flagged. So if your designer face serum is in a fancy glass bottle with a metal pump, it might raise alarms, regardless of how harmless it actually is. And size still matters. Anything over 3.4 ounces is fair game for confiscation, even if the product is half empty. TSA agents no longer make exceptions for "it's barely used" or "it cost a fortune." If it breaks the rule, it's gone. That goes for lotions, creams, gels, pastes, and even some solid deodorants if they're unusually dense or labeled as melt activated. Certain solid beauty bars are also raising eyebrows, especially those shaped like ordinary soaps but containing active ingredients. If a product doesn't clearly list its contents, it could be treated as a chemical risk. Even worse, refillable beauty products. Those sleek, eco-friendly designs with interchangeable cartridges are being examined as possible smugglers' tools. TSA officers are trained to spot refillable cases with compartments that could hide prohibited items. The takeaway? Keep it minimal, go for transparent packaging, travel sizes, and clearly labeled containers. Your skincare routine may be sacred, but to TSA, it's just another potential threat, and they won't hesitate to toss your favorite moisturizer into the trash if it raises even a single red flag. Number 6. Even medically necessary items aren't off limits. In 2025, powdered supplements, prescription creams, and medical devices are under tighter control due to growing concerns about smuggling through prescription containers. Here's what changed. All supplements must be in original sealed packaging. Loose pills and plastic organizers are more likely to be flagged. Certain powdered supplements are now treated as potential hazmat materials. Prescription creams must be clearly labeled with both doctor and pharmacy information. Even insulin pens, inhalers, and portable oxygen are getting scanned and sometimes swabbed for chemical traces. If anything looks tampered with or repackaged, TSA, agents are trained to pull you aside. It's not paranoia, it's protocol, but it could cost you your flight. Number 7. That cool souvenir you grabbed last minute? It might cause a big delay. Wooden carvings, artisanal spices, sand in a bottle, or locally bottled liquids are some of the most confiscated souvenirs in 2025. Why? Some countries have seen an uptick in illegal wildlife trade and agricultural pests hitching rides in innocent souvenirs. So TSA now works with customs and wildlife agencies to screen such items. Even sealed spice packs have triggered alerts due to possible traces of controlled substances or allergens. Some items like bamboo crafts, shell jewelry, or carved animal horns may violate international trade laws. Even if they were legally bought, a tourist once brought back a tribal mask and ended up missing their flight while officials verified it wasn't made of endangered wood. Is that souvenir worth a 2-hour interrogation? Number 8. Your laptop, tablet, or game console may be hiding more than files. In 2025, TSA scanners now include advanced data forensics tools. While they're not reading your private messages, they are programmed to detect modified hardware, battery tampering, or hidden compartments. This especially affects travelers who carry external drives, power banks, or devices purchased overseas. Anything that looks modified, overly thick, or doesn't match the brand's standard size could be flagged. One traveler's modified Steam Deck was taken for having a suspicious internal layout. Another's external SSD was cracked open because the weight didn't match standard models. Also, expect more random checks on encrypted devices. If you can't unlock your gadget on the spot, you may not be allowed to board with it. Is your tech clean, standard, and scan ready? Or a red flag waiting to happen? Number 9. Carrying cash. TSA doesn't stop you unless it's suspicious. In 2025, TSA works more closely with federal agencies to flag large or unusual currency amounts. If you carry over $10,000, you must declare it, not just when entering a country, but now even on domestic flights flagged for drug or trafficking routes. Even coin collections, foreign currency bundles, or precious metal bars, looking at you gold bugs, can trigger scrutiny. One woman carrying silver rounds as gifts had them confiscated until she proved they weren't counterfeit. Also, new on the radar, crypto cold wallets. Not the apps on your phone, but actual hardware wallets. If they're unlabeled or look like USB drives, they may be pulled for analysis. And no, TSA agents don't want your Bitcoin. They want to know what's inside that data stick with no branding. Number 10. Believe it or not, printed material is being examined more closely in 2025. Books with hollowed-out compartments, glued pages, or metallic threading, like security-enhanced passports and designer notebooks, are often separated and inspected by hand. Sketchbooks, diaries, and journals with ink cartridges or hidden storage slots may be opened and swabbed. Some novelty notebooks even contain hidden spy cameras or voice recorders, and TSA agents are trained to detect them. A traveler once had their leather-bound journal confiscated because it had a pen-shaped recording device hidden inside the spine. It looked cool. TSA didn't think so. If you're journaling your adventures, make sure your notebook doesn't look like it belongs in a spy movie. So what's safe to bring in 2025? Think simple, transparent, clearly labeled, unmodified, travel light, pack smart, and keep documentation handy. The TSA isn't trying to ruin your trip, but they will take anything that raises suspicion, no matter how common it seems. Even your breakfast bar. Stay one step ahead or risk walking away from security with nothing but a boarding pass and a very empty bag. Subscribe.